Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Israel Brief brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Raylene Marks, your host, bringing you the top stories from Israel and surrounds every Monday to Thursday on this platform and also on YouTube. And we would like to thank all of you who are subscribing to our channel at the Israel Brief. It certainly helps us get Israel's side of the story that you might not see in the mainstream media out to as many people as possible. And we'd like to know, how are you all doing? I know just like us, many of you are in lockdown or are in some kind of restriction. And we just wanted you to know that no matter where you are in the world, we are all in this together. Our thoughts are with you, as we know yours are with us. And hey, let's keep each other company as we get through this together. So while we're on the subject of restrictions and COVID, let's take a look at those top stories. Israel's rate of infections has reached a high of over 500,000 people infected with the virus since the start of the pandemic. This is parallel to an extraordinary effort by the government and the health ministry to vaccinate as many Israelis as possible. But while we are rolling out this world-leading vaccination program, and we do hope to have at least 5.2 million people vaccinated by the end of March, we are also concerned about the rising numbers. As you know, Israel is in the middle of a very intense 10-day lockdown as the health ministry hopes to bring down the rate of infections as well as make sure as many people as possible are vaccinated. Now, there have been attributes to the surge to the British variant of the COVID-19 virus. At least 2,000 people are known to have been infected as a result of that, and we know of at least 4 cases now of the highly contagious South African variant. And we really hope that with these lockdowns and with the tighter restrictions that we will put an end to this as soon as possible. What we also know is there's talk around vaccinating teachers between Wednesday and Friday, and what is quite moving is to see the amount of countries coming to Israel for help and advice on how to implement an effective, safe and expedient vaccination rollout program. It really is a great point of pride for Israelis that we can take the lead, but also offer much needed advice on how to do this effectively. Now we go to Egypt, and needing some much needed advice are Egypt, Jordan, Germany and France. The Munich Pact who met yesterday and made a lot of discussions or a lot of decisions concerning a two-state solution. The 4 countries who hope to influence President-elect Joe Biden before he swears into office on the 20th of January, they hope to impart a little bit of pressure on what they see as a solution, being moving Israel back to the 1967 borders and adopting a two-state solution approach. Now, the Trump peace plan also took a two-state solution approach, but slightly different to what the Europeans are advocating. But blatantly missing from these discussions were both representatives from Israel and the Palestinians. It is something that does tend to rub Israelis up the wrong way, having our future, having our state discussed without our input. But let's see what happens. We are all waiting with a lot of anticipation to see where President-elect Biden stands on this, how he will be proceeding. Will he be like Obama, who he served under as vice president, or will he adopt some of the strategies of the Trump administration? It remains to be seen, but we will be watching quite closely. And while we're on the subject of President-elect Biden, we now have to talk a little bit about events that took place in Washington, D.C., and we all watched with great alarm at the protests, which in some points turned into riots across the American capital. And as of moments ago, President Trump has declared Washington a state of emergency. There are concerns that further protests, further riots will erupt not only in the capital, but around the country as the inauguration date approaches. But what is coming out of this is an alarming new trend, and it's not new. It's been several months, where we spoke a couple of months ago about CNN anchor Christiane Amanpour likening some of the Trump administration decisions and goings on to Kristallnacht. Kristallnacht was a night that took place on the 9th and 10th of November 1938 in Nazi-occupied parts of Europe, especially Germany, which resulted in hundreds of thousands of synagogues, Jewish businesses and homes being looted, destroyed and burnt to the ground. This is often seen as the precursor to the Holocaust, which saw the wholesale slaughter of 6 million plus European Jews. At least 30,000 Jewish men were rounded up and sent to concentration camps during the events of Kristallnacht, and many took their lives afterwards. And to make such comparisons shows us two things: a little understanding or regard for the victims of the Holocaust and survivors, but also that the world is in sore lack of proper Holocaust education and sensitivities around the Holocaust. While we are having very important discussions around race and tolerance and race relations, we need to include issues around the Holocaust and discrimination against Jews and the cheapening of the Jewish experience to push forward a political agenda in the mix. What has been of grave concern is over the last couple of days, the comparison to Kristallnacht has raised its ugly head again. Former Californian governor and actor Arnold Schwarzenegger made a very powerful speech where he not only appealed to Americans to respect democracy, but he made allusions or comparisons again to Kristallnacht. Now, in his point, he was trying to say that a violent mob egged on by its leaders could act out in a very, very worrying way, and he was very careful to explain what Kristallnacht is in review of the Jewish experience. Where it is also getting extremely concerning is that in the last 2 days we have seen a former Republican Congressman Stephen King, as well as Jeanine Pirro, she's an anchor woman on Fox News, refer to the cyber giants purging of far-right accounts as being that of Kristallnacht. We would just like to state unequivocally, purging the internet of far-right people like QAnon, the Proud Boys, and other neo-Nazis is not comparable to Kristallnacht. Not only do you owe the Jewish people and Holocaust survivors a profound apology, you need to correct your statements as soon as possible. It cannot be that we live in a world that the Holocaust has become cheapened by pushing flagrant political agendas. So that's all we have to say on this particular subject, but we have a lot to say on many other subjects, and you can check that out on our website at www.layoftheland.online. I will be publishing an article later this week on the Kristallnacht comparison. We're also on Facebook, and if you haven't already, please join our growing community by liking us or following us, and don't forget to invite your friends too as well. We know that many of you are subscribing to our YouTube channel, which can be found at the Israel Brief, and we're also on Twitter, where we have our say on numerous different topics. And if you want to follow us and interact with us, you can find us at Lay of the Land 5. That's Lay of the Land with the digit 5. So that's it for the Tuesday edition of the Israel Brief. We wish you all a safe and a healthy rest of your day, and we'll see you again tomorrow. I'm Rolene Marks. This is the Israel Brief.